All right, guys, it's been a long time coming, but finally I am reviewing House of Chains for you all. Malazan Book 4. And what do I say? I'm going to start off with a spoiler free review in like 1 or 2 minutes for everyone, and then I'm going to go into spoiler territory because I've realized doing these reviews, and some of you have suggested it, that I might get more out of it, getting into some discussions. But first of all, the spoiler free one, it's going to be pretty short, but this book really surprised me since this is a sequel to the second book, a direct sequel to Dead House Gates, which is my least favorite Malazan book. It still is. It's still an amazing book, but compared to the other ones, I really didn't like it as much as the other ones. And that's why this one surprised me, because this might be my favorite Malazan book after Gardens of the Moon, which is still probably my favorite book in the series. But this was just spectacular. Everyone hyped up Memories of Ice, which I understand, but for me, this one just beat it by an inch. There's so many different vibes and stories and characters, and there's just so much range in this book, and there are so many things that come together in this series. And as I'm progressively reading the series, you learn more about the universe and the world, and the author makes sure that you can actually use that knowledge during your reading experience. So this was just lovely and amazing, and answered a lot of questions, but created more questions than it answered, but in the most lovely and spectacular way. So this one is another banger. I'm fantastic. So many good moments and so many tragic moments. So that was my spoiler-free review. I highly recommend this spoiler-free for anyone who finished the first three books. I think this beat even Memories of Ice. So it doesn't get any better than that. Moving on to spoiler territory. So 2 minutes or under 3 minutes. These are going to be spoilers, guys. And it might be spoilers for the previous books, and it might be spoilers up until Midnight Tides, which is the fifth book, because that's what I'm currently reading. So I'm not going to filter anything. But let me think about why I think this was so amazing and what I liked about it, how I reacted. Now, let's start with the first quarter of this book. The first quarter of this book is Kursa Orlong, lead a war leader. One thing that made me love this book even more and this series, was the first quarter of this book, especially just the way it changes your perspective into a type of culture and characters that I was never expecting to meet something like this in Malazan, because it's so antithetical to all the stuff that I read up until now, and it really felt like he has a theme of compassion and understanding and ending people's suffering, and then this shit shows up. This is like Conan on the craziest anabolic steroids and drugs and caveman world. And that was just so refreshing. It might sound sick when I say it, but it was so refreshing and so much fun to read. It read like an old epic poem. It almost had the same feel to me as the Epic of Gilgamesh. I've read a new translation by Stephen Mitchell. It had that myth poem feel to it, where everything felt very important, and the whole story was framed in a way where it just felt like this was written thousands of years ago. Now, where it ends up and how Karsa changes is another story. That is still amazing, but the opening quarter of this book was just such a shocker and such a variation as a Malazan reader. I never expected this. I also thought it was lovely, since when I read a chapter, I read it in this physical book first, and then I listened to it at Audible. And from this book and onwards, I think the narrator changes to one who is 1,000 times better. I just forgot his name. I'm just gonna double check it. Malazan narrator. Yeah, Ralph Lister narrated the first 3 books. I'm sorry. I hope Ralph Lister never hears this, but I hate I hate him as a narrator. Okay, he might be an amazing human being, and there's just so many opinions I have about Ralph Lister, how he reads, how he pronounces words and expresses himself verbally, that just made me want to puke at certain times. On the other hand, I have to say some of his imitations of characters were actually good. But it was really annoying, and it was just terrible. And the switch to Michael Page is so lovely, and I'm just loving it. I just love the entire thing, and I'm so glad that Michael Page is the narrator for the rest of the series. He just does a lovely job, and it feels true. It feels truly fantasy, and he really embodies the characters well, all kinds of characters. Long rant about the audiobooks, but it's necessary to say. It's part of the experience for me. This is my reading experience. The first quarter is perfect for me. And then I was not expecting it to be good because I never really liked the Deadhouse Gate stuff as much as the other stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll read it. It's Malazan, I'll read it. And I was blown away about how freaking good and exciting it was. I was not expecting this. The soldier military part in this book is 100 times better than in Deadhouse Gates, if you ask me. I could really relate to this army, the Malazan army, and I am guessing, please don't spoil it for me, but I'm guessing that that's also, Tavor's army is going to be called the Bone Hunters because, they have this bone thing on their, they have this bone mascot insignia on their military uniforms. So I assume that those are going to be the Bone Hunters, but maybe I'm wrong. I might be. Don't spoil it. Just so many cool things where it totally changed my mind on Erickson's ability to write about military stuff and it being very unclear. It was much better in this one and very enjoyable. And it just turned, my expectations were, this is going to continue Dallas Gates. I'm just going to stick with it and I'm looking forward to the next book. But at the end of this book, I was just in love with it. There were so many moments where I was moved. I even like Lostara and Pearl now, and I hated them before. The scene in the Karsa part with the Four Cruel Assail scared the shit out of me. That was like a horror movie. So I can't wait to see how that maybe comes back to us later. And also revisiting Karsa's village. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I am looking forward to it if we ever revisit that. The whole Shaikh thing was so good and so tragic. And one of my most unexpected give a fucks was Fist Gamut. I started not liking him, and at the end of the story, with the end of his story arc, so to say, I was in tears. I was literally in tears reading this book outside on a bench in the evening so no one saw me, but there were some tears running down my face because the way that story ends, it was just like a beautiful old folk song. And I didn't see it coming. I could have guessed it, but I just wasn't in that state because it was so exciting. And when I finally found out that that's actually what happened to him, it was just heartbreaking. Just fantastic stuff. So well written. Oh, what's more, we have the Kalam stuff was really good. He's a little bit confusing though. Like he caused the whole whirlwind with the book stuff and then he's trying to stop it. It's really fucking weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but the whole story makes sense kind of. But some of the characters, I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Because I thought that part of Dead House Case was terrible. The conclusion for Kalam's, meeting with Lassine was just terribly bad, and I didn't get it. Maybe I'll get it when I've read the whole thing. One more favorite thing that I adored, except for the whole, Karsa going through the camp killing all the fucking evil guys. One more thing that I really loved that was like a side quest that I liked more than most things in this book was Lorik. Meeting these Tiste Leosin. Not only these four Tiste Leosins that kind of reminded me of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. That's the feel they gave me. But finding out that Lorik is actually a Tiste Leosin in hiding is they're like white or high elves. That was really freaking cool. And his whole journey into this different dimension from the world's past, where he meets his father, that's also traveled to the world's past to see what's going on there, and all the stuff we found out there with the hounds that are not the hounds of shadow but the hounds of darkness. And it took me a while to understand, that's different than the hounds of shadow. The hounds of darkness are like a more beefed up version, a more dangerous version. And yeah, just the conclusions of those stories. Lorik was probably one of my favorite characters. And it was unexpected because I usually like strong characters with big weapons, but Lorik really took home the awards for me in a lot of ways. Lorik and Gamets for me, and there were some scenes with Fellowson that also made me crack up. There was one scene near the end for her part where she remembers playing with her siblings, and at that point I understood that she's gonna die. It was just so, it just felt so obvious to me, but in a perfect way, how everything there was revealed, and then the scene itself was just so tragic because Tavor never found out. I wonder if she's ever gonna find out, because Lostari and Pearl didn't actually tell her. Yeah, this book broke my heart in the best possible way, and I have no idea if this is a review or a rant or whatever, but just need to get it off of my chest. Troll and Sengar, I'm not even gonna get into it, guys. Oh, so good. That was so good. I'm about a third into Midnight Tides now, and I can't imagine how Troll got there. I'm like, what? I just finished in Midnight Tides, I just finished the gift in the ice parts. You'll understand what that is. And I'm like, how the fuck did the intro in this book happen? How the fuck did they get there? Are we gonna retcon the story now? But that's what's so good about this series, that you see the different pieces of the puzzle, and the exciting part is finding new pieces, but also seeing how they all fit together. So just privileged and happy to have discovered this series. This is redefined reading for me, and I'm just so happy about it. So let me know what you thought about the review. Let me know what you think about House of Chains. Is it your favorite? Is it your least favorite? Is it somewhere in between? And what do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Do you agree or disagree with me? I have so much more to say, and probably do some more videos on this. But yeah, that's it. And everyone, thank you. We just got over 40 subscribers to this channel. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your encouragement. And thank you for your confidence. I am going to upload more videos and more often now when the summer's coming, because I'll be having more time to read, more time to make videos, and more time to talk Malazan with you guys. So stay active in the comments. Any questions, any thoughts, please let me know. I'm always happy to read a comment from you guys. And thank you for your time. And I wish you all a fantastic evening.